Από το αποκλεισμό. Έλα ρε, γάμο το...
Πήγαινε πιο πάνω τη σελίδα.
Περίμενε ρε μαλά. Έχει Μη μιλάς.
Μια ερώτηση.
Βλάκα.
Πώς κάνεις...
Αποκλειστεί. Μη μιλάς.
Μια ερώτηση.
Μπείτε στο live, καλέ!
Μη μιλάς.
Μπείτε στο live, μη σας βγάλω τα αυτάκια.
Ωραία. Να πούμε Ζούλα.
Μπείτε στο...
No! No, no! Nine.
Emergency. Which service?
Police! Get me the police!
Not so fast, you nincompoops. Where's the car? What are you gaping at? I should like to thank you for all your care and kindness. In the whole of my life, I've never been so miserable. Well, I wish you all good day. I hope forever. Come along. What's keeping us?
I didn't know he was being discharged today.
Discharged? He's been expelled.
There goes the old fox at last.
What a beautiful sight.
Goodbye, Sir Wilfrid. Bye. Bye. Do you think he'll be back again?
He does. I'm leaving. Oh, my, what a miserable day. Just perfect for your homecoming. You know, I always say it's worth having the rain just to appreciate the sunshine when it comes. Oh, tell me, is there too much draught? Shall I shut the window?
No, just shut up, will you?
Now you're being naughty again, Sir Wilfrid. We must keep our spirits up. I just adore London. It's so eccentric. Were you knighted at the palace, Sir Wilfrid?
No, at the zoo, I think.
Look, there's Harrods. I buy all my stockings there.
Amazing.
You know, I almost married a law student years ago, but he caught pneumonia and went, just like that.
Died of fright, didn't he?
Careful now, Sir Wilfrid. Remember, you've been flat on your back now for 2 months.
Oh, stand back, stand back. Williams, my cane.
Here he comes. Me.
Good morning. Thank you. Everyone back to work. What's the matter with you?
Well, I was afraid after your heart attack that... But here you are, your old self again.
Any more of such sentimentality and I go straight back to hospital.
Not likely. They won't take you back.
Prince, I'll put those in water. Come along, Carter. Look at this room. Old, ugly, musty. I never knew I could miss anything so much. Miss you too, Carter. Musty old buzzard.
Oh, thank you, sir. I'm not a religious person, sir. When they took you away in that ambulance, I lit a candle.
Oh, thank you, Carter.
Well, actually, I was lighting it for myself, sir. I mean, if anything happened to you, what would happen to me after all these years?
Oh, indeed.
I started with your first murder trial, you know.
Indeed, you did. 37 years ago, and still got the same wig. Face it, Carter, will you?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid we put it away, sir.
Put it away?
In mothballs.
Mothballs. I suppose you thought I wasn't going to practice again.
Oh, no, sir, we have several interesting briefs for you. A divorce case, tax appeal, very simple, excellent fees.
Never that.
I'm sorry, Sir Wilfrid, but you're not to undertake any more criminal cases. The doctors.
Doctors? They've deprived me of everything.
Cases.
Never that.
I'm sorry, Sir Wilfrid, but you're not to undertake any more criminal cases. The doctors.
Doctors? They've deprived me of everything. Tobacco, alcohol, female companionship. Carter.
Yes, sir.
You can bring me a bigger box, bigger mothball. And put me away in it, too.
11:30, Sir Wilfrid. Time for a nap before lunch.
Later.
Come now, let's get you upstairs. Let's get you undressed and we'll lie down.
We? What a prospect.
Upstairs. Come along now.
No, don't pull me. I could strike.
Oh, you'd never do that. You might break your cigars.
What cigars?
The ones you've been smuggling.
How did they get there?
In hospital, he'd hide the brandy, too. We called him Wilfrid the Fox. I'm confiscating these.
Just one?
No. Upstairs, please.
I mean, just a puff. After meals.
Not before, not during, not after. Cigars, Sir Wilfrid, are a thing.
Don't be surprised, Carter. Some dark night I shall plunge a thermometer into her heart.
Oh, no, sir. You mustn't walk up. We have the lift now.
That lift hasn't worked for a year.
Indeed, sir. That's why we had it repaired for your return. The doctor was adamant about it. He ordered it.
Are you sure that it's...
Oh, yes, it's quite reliable now.
Shall we go?
Good morning, Miss O'Brien.
Ah, hey, you.
Sir Wilfrid, how very good to see you back on the job again.
Nothing scheduled except a few dull civil cases.
Well, in that case, I think I might have something interesting for you. I have my client right here with me, and this is Mr. Leonard Vole. And he's in quite a ghastly mess, I'm afraid.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Vole?
Well, according to Mr. Mayhew, not very well, sir.
Sir Wilfrid, it's 11:45.
I know what the time is. Sorry. Next year, Mayhew. Nice to have met you, my boy.
My pleasure, sir.
Here we are. Now come along, Sir Wilfrid. Sir Wilfrid! Sir Wilfrid! Sir Wilfrid!
Well, he's convalescing. He really can't accept any case of a criminal nature. The doctor has requested all of us to see to...
Gentlemen.
Sir Wilfrid...
It's all right, Carter. We're not taking his brief. But Mayhew was an old friend. I'm sure he could do with some advice.
Oh.
Yes, well, I could give you 5 minutes, couldn't I?
Well, that's very kind of you, Sir Wilfred.
Oh, no, Mayhew. Just you and I, please. Thank you.
Sir Wilfred, your nap.
You go ahead and start it without me.
This is your fault, Mr. Carter.
How can you say that? I told you.
Excuse me, but if it's anyone's fault, it's mine. It seems silly to me now, but Mr. Mayhew thinks that I might be arrested at any moment.
For what?
Well, for murder.
This woman, a middle-aged widow, was living with a housekeeper in Hampstead. The housekeeper claims that Mr. Vole visited the widow the same evening she was found dead. Struck in the back of the head.
I see.
He seems such a nice, harmless chap. Simply caught in a web of circumstantial evidence. I wonder, could you perhaps think of a line of defense?
I think best with a cigar.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. He's a man of good character, an American with an excellent war record. I know you'll like him.
She's confiscated the matches. They're right.
Oh, sorry. I'll get you one.
No. You don't know, Miss Plimsoll. This will take all our cunning. Young man, a rather important point. If you could just join us for a moment.
Of course, sir. Thank you. Sir?
Give me a match.
What?
Give me a match.
I'm sorry, I never carry them.
Oh, my God. You said I'd like it.
I do have a lighter, however.
Charming fellow. Mr. Vole, you may or may not have murdered a middle-aged widow, but you saved the life of an old barrister.
Well, it's all so fantastic. I haven't murdered anyone. My God. I hate violence of any kind. I'm only here because Christine, that's my wife, thought I might be implicated in some way. Do I really need 2 lawyers? Excuse me, it seems silly.
Mr. Vole, those who commit murder in this country face the hangman. Is that silly?
No, sir. I didn't mean...
Hey, Hugh, you explain to him, will you?
I am a solicitor, Mr. Vole. Sir Wilfred is a barrister. And only a barrister can plead a case in court.
The fact is, I made a statement to the police. They seemed quite satisfied.
They seem satisfied. He made a statement and thinks that's the end of it. You are a principal suspect.
Why? Why should I be arrested for something I haven't done?
Relax, Mr. Vole. You are now in the hands of the finest barrister in London.
Hey, Hugh, I may have taken your cigar, but I'm not taking your case. Hold that, will you? I submit we call her Mr. Brogan Moore.
A very able man.
Oh, Carter, ask Mr. Brogan Moore to come to me as soon as he leaves the court.
Yes, sir.
Sir Wilfred, I have never known such insubordination since I was a nurse in the front lines during the war.
Oh, thanks very much. What sort of work do you do?
Well, I've worked at all sorts of jobs. Mechanics, mostly. I like working on cars the best, picking up new gadgets for them.
Yeah, I see. Well, you're not working now.
No.
How did you get to know Mrs. French?
On Oxford Street. One day I saw this old lady carrying a lot of...
Old lady?
Well, she was in her 50s, wasn't she? Well, she's carrying a lot of packages, and then right in the middle of the street, she dropped them. She was trying to pick them up, and I saw this bus coming towards her. I yelled at her, and she managed to get to the curb in time.
Well, and then?
Oh, I picked up the packages for her. I wiped some of the mud off. I tried to calm her down.
I presume she was grateful.
Oh, you'd have thought I tried to save her life.
And then?
Well, then she asked me to come and see her.
So you went?
Oh, I thought it would be rude to refuse. And she seemed very lonely.
Her husband had been in the colonial service and died at the age of 45.
Poor guy. Heart attack.
Please. Not while I'm smoking. And so... Well, and then you saw her quite frequently.
Yeah, we'd sip sherry and play canasta. You know, it's really weird to think of her now, lying there in that living room, murdered.
Oh, I assure you, they've moved her by now. Not to have done so would be unfeeling, unlawful, unsanitary. You say that he was in her place on the night of the murder?
Oh, yes, but I left before 9:30.
The housekeeper claimed that Emily French was still alive when she came back at 10.
How much money did you get out of her?
Nothing. Not a cent.
The truth. How much?
Why should she give me any money?
Because she was in love with you.
Excuse me, sir. That's ridiculous. She liked me. She even pampered me like an aunt. But that's all. I swear it.
Why didn't you tell her you were a married man?
Oh, I did tell her.
Did you take your wife to see her?
No.
Why not?
Well, because, well, she was under the impression that Christine and I didn't get along too well.
Did you give her that impression?
No, she seemed to want to believe it that way.
But you never corrected that impression.
I was afraid she'd lose interest in me.
Because she was rich.
Yes, I suppose so.
And you were after her money. Were you?
Yes, in a way. I was hoping for a loan, that's all, for an invention of mine. That's all it would have been. Is that so bad?
The housekeeper was out. Just you. And that lonely woman in the empty house. How easy it would have been.
No. When I left her, she was alive. I know things do look bad for me. But I swear to God I didn't do it. You do believe me, don't you?
No, you're wrong, Mr. Vole. Things don't look bad for you. They look absolutely terrible. You've no alibi, no witness.
Just my wife.
The testimony of a devoted wife, I'm afraid, does not carry much weight.
Ah, Rogan Moore. Come in, come in.
So good to see you out of hospital.
Glad to get rid of it. Ah, you know Mayhew. This is his client, Mr. Leonard Vole.
The Emily French murder. Indeed. How do you do?
Ah, not too well, I'm afraid. He's no alibi. He's a hot potato. I'm delivering it right in your lap.
Much obliged.
Well, your best defense will be lack of motive. If he's sponging on her, why kill her off? No motive, no money, I'm afraid. You'll have to sue for your fees.
I'll simply put a lien on his £80,000.
What, 80,000 pounds?
Why, the £80,000 that Mrs. French left you.
Left me?
They found her will this morning. Congratulations.
My God, you've got to be joking. 80? I can't believe it. I've got to call Christine right away. This inheritance, it doesn't make things look any better for me, does it?
I wouldn't think so.
So now they'll say I did have a motive.
I would think £80,000 a very handsome motive.
Excuse me, sir. There are two gentlemen here asking for Mr. Vole.
The police?
Yes, sir.
Tell them to come in.
Yes, sir.
My God. Is this it?
I'm afraid it may be, my boy.
But I had no idea she'd leave me her money. How could it be a motive?
Now, don't worry. Mr. Brogan Moore will bring all that out in court.
Ah, Chief Inspector Hurd. Congratulations on your promotion.
Oh, thank you, Sir Wilfred. Sorry to disturb you in your chambers.
No, not at all. We have your dangerous Mr. Vole here.
You are Leonard Vole?
Yes.
I have a warrant for your arrest on the charge of murdering one Emily French. I must warn you, anything you say will be taken down and may be used in evidence.
Pardon me. I've never been arrested. Do I have to be handcuffed?
That won't be necessary.
I'll go to the station with you, see you properly charged.
Will you explain to my wife?
Yes, of course.
I can't believe this is happening.
Well, did you give him your monocle test?
Yes, I did.
And?
Curiously enough, he came through with flying colors.
Excuse me, Sir Wilfrid, but Miss Plimsoll has issued an ultimatum. If you're not in bed in 1 minute, she will resign. If you refuse to take proper care of yourself, sir, I will be forced to resign too.
Blackmail. All right, Carter. I'll go quiet. It's been a bit hectic this morning. Ah, Miss Plimsoll, how alluring you look. Like a caged cobra. How do I manage to resist you?
Wilfrid, would you care to question Mr. Vowell's wife?
Sorry, I'm in no condition to cope with weeping women. You want a dozen handkerchiefs?
No. That will not be necessary. How do you do? I am Christine Vowell.
Madam, I'm Wilfrid Robarts. This is Mr. Brogan Moore. We've some rather bad news for you, I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid. I'm quite disciplined. He's been arrested, hasn't he? And charged with murder. I told him he would be.
You show extraordinary fortitude. My friend here will take on your husband's defense.
Oh. You will not personally defend Leonard?
Well, regrettably not. My health, you see.
I've heard you described as the champion of the hopeless cause. Perhaps this cause is too hopeless.
Sir Wilfrid? I intend to have a very serious discussion with Dr. Harrison. It was a great mistake to let you come back here. I should have taken you directly to some far-off resort, like Bermuda.
Never. You just want to see me in those nasty little shorts.
Now, put these on, if you please. Both tops and bottoms. I'll make your bed. I must say, I feel rather sorry for Mr. Vowell. That wife of his sounds absolutely horrid. Oh, foreigner. I think English girls are so much more caring and sensible. My mother, oh, I come from Dorset. My mother used to say that no self-respecting Dorset man would ever dream of marrying a foreigner. Have you ever stayed in Dorset? Oh, I do so love it. Such a happy childhood.
Yes.
Oh, well, my career now takes me to so many places, I've no time to be homesick. No. No, that isn't true. Sometimes I feel just so lonely, you know. So lonely. Oh, but one must keep busy. One must keep active. I think you'll agree with me there. It's so rewarding, you know, to be in the service of those who need professional care.
Do you like fish?
All of us must do what we do best in this world. And so I remain content. Sir Wilfrid.
To the club, Williams.
Yes, sir.
Forgive my haste, but my nurse might be following on her broomstick. You must understand, Mrs. Vole, that your husband's entire defense depends on his word and yours. Unfortunately, a jury, often skeptical of a man accused of murder, supported only by the word of his adoring wife.
Always.
Indeed. He's quite right.
Oh, I say, aren't these beauties?
Yes,
well... No, you go on, my dear fellow. Question this charming lady. I won't interrupt you.
Yes, well, I take it, then, that you knew that your husband had been seeing Mrs. French regularly.
I knew it from the day he came home with a pair of green socks she had knitted for him.
See? A pair of socks. Well, that's quite natural, almost endearing.
Leonard can be very endearing. He has a way with women. I only hope he will have an all-woman jury. He will be acquitted in triumph.
You knew she'd left him money in her will?
A great deal of money.
Your husband had no previous knowledge of this?
Is that what he told you?
Surely not suggesting anything different.
I do not suggest anything.
Quite obviously, Mrs. French looked upon your husband as a son or a nephew.
My God, what hypocrites you are in this country.
Θα το δούμε την υπόλοιπη αργότερα, αύριο ίσως. Ή τη Δευτέρα.